Raiders, I have something really fun to share with you. A 67 million point Hydra run. It was just my third key. I was just trying to get normal done for my clan. And once I saw how well it was going, I was like, oh, I better start recording this. So I didn't even record it from the beginning. But you'll get to see, a big majority of the run. And, it was a lot of fun. I was just trying to get somewhere between 6 and 20 million points just to do my part for the clan. But I ended up doing over half the points we needed for the week. So that was a lot of fun. This is, again, it's on normal. It's not on hard or brutal. And I don't know if this would scale to hard or brutal. I don't know if these are champions that other people have already been using or a comp that other people have used. If they have, please post it in the comments. I'd love to, share any credit with them. This isn't necessarily like a comp I'm trying to sell out there. More than anything, it's just me sharing this big run that happened. I will share the gear and the masteries and all that, but for the most part, it was just, kind of this happenstance thing that happened on my third key, with the leftover champs that I, hadn't used yet. So, but it turned out to be a really, really fun run. So anyway, let's get into it. I'll kind of show you around. So here I was on normal. It was 67.27 million. On hard, I did 40 million off of my 2 keys. Unfortunately, you can only show one of the teams there. So I had used what I thought were my, A+ characters on the other one. The ones that I really want to show off here is Big Un. Did almost 25 million points. That's pretty incredible, I think. Also, Geomancer did really well with 14 million, but I really did not expect Big Un to outdo Geomancer. We did not have counterattack, so that's not where Big Un's points came from. I got 10 million from Santa also, so I was really surprised that Geomancer's numbers weren't bigger than they were. And then we had Duchess, not scoring much, of course, and Cardiel either. They're not there for that reason. Lydia also did 9.5 million, so only about 5 behind Geomancer. So that's really surprising to me. But anyway, Duchess Lilitu, of course, is there to revive everybody whenever they get knocked down, and that does happen once in a while. Cardiel is there for a couple specific reasons. One is his auto revive, which makes, takes a lot of the weight off of Duchess, so she's not having to do the revive all the time. But also, he's there to do the ally attack. Ally attack, of course, lets everybody do more damage. But what it also does is when the Mischief head comes out, you can actually target that at the Mischief head, and some of the attacks are going to land. It's not going to be all of them, but that can actually be really helpful. He also cleanses the team when that happens, so that really helps us deal with the Torment head when Duchess's Veil isn't up. So, and especially to cleanse the fear off of Duchess, because she doesn't put Perfect Veil on herself, she puts it on everybody else. So if she ends up with it on her and people get knocked down and she tries to use her revive, we're going to be in trouble at that point. Santa's there to do his unkillable. He's there to put up a shield, to do the things that he would always be there to do. And also he does quite a bit of damage, as we see here. And then of course, Geomancer's there to put the burn out there and especially target those heads that have swallowed our people. Whenever they swallow somebody, we want to put the burn on that one, so that anytime any of the heads attack, damage is going to happen and we get those, champions out of there quickly. So he really helps us excavate those people. And then Big Un is there for damage, of course. He's hitting AoE every time, which is a big deal. But also he puts slow out there on an AoE, which is really, really cool. Obviously he won't land it every time because he's blue affinity. Sometimes when he hits red affinity, he's going to weak hit. Also, he's, he can do that kind of double hit where he hits on his A1. He hits once and then he hits everybody, including that first champion that you hit. So he's a great one to aim at the downed heads. He'll actually do some massive damage to the heads that are cut off. And then Lydia, of course, is going to put defense down and weaken, but more importantly, she's going to put speed and strengthen on our team. So she's going to help us stay alive and she's going to help us move faster, so we can get more turns off. All right, so here we are. We're joining it at turn 90. This is when I realized, wow, this might actually be something special. I was kind of hoping I would get to like that 30 million mark where, you're really kind of feeling good about yourself. It's It's higher than you need for it's higher than you would need for hard, which I was of course not doing at the time. But it's not, you know, so high that it's something crazy, but it, you know, it was fun. I thought I might as well record it. I might be able to make some kind of video out of it. But in this case, you know, we obviously ended up going a lot higher. And what was really cool about this team was the way that, you know, almost everybody was there to help keep us alive. We had, you know, Duchess there to revive. She was there to put the perfect veil on us, and you know, her passive is there as well. And then, you know, we've got Sir Nick there putting unkillable on us. So if we got down low, we could do that. He also brings heals, and so does Duchess. Both of them bring heals to help bring us back up to full life. Cardiel's there with some heals. He's also there with that block debuffs, which of course, you know, is also there from Duchess as well. So you were able to keep block debuffs up, you know, the majority of the fight. But he also puts that auto revive on there, something that was just kind of this fail safe to know, like, I don't have to put the unkillable on right now. If they attack me and they chain off on me, I'm not going to end up wiping. Not wiping is a big plus to certain comps. There was an unkillable comp that I came up with. That was one of the benefits of that. It wasn't like a perfect unkillable where you were going to last forever or anything like that, but there weren't many times where you were going to say, ooh, we could accidentally wipe here. And that's a big deal in Hydra because, you know, I think that's probably the biggest complaint people have about Hydra. I put all this time into it, I put all this effort, and I have to wait like 7 days because I wiped so early. And now all my best champs are gone. I'm going to try to put something together for my other keys, and maybe I'll wipe on those too. So, you know, that's probably people's biggest complaint about Hydra. I know they've got a lot of complaints. I'm really excited about Hydra right now because I really like the fact that I have something to work on. I've got something to build champs for. I've got something that's challenging that I don't walk into it, at least on the first rotation, and say, wow, this is going to be easy, you know, especially when I get to my second or my third key. All right, I'm fast forwarding it a little bit because I think I had to take a break every once in a while. Not only because it was going so long, but because I also have a 4-year-old at home. So once in a while I have to go get him something to drink, or, you know, something like that. So if you see kind of a pause in the action, that's why. I will let this run for a little while, and then I'm going to start fast forwarding it to the point where, you know, we see certain like key times when maybe we got down to just Duchess, or, you know, maybe we had a bunch of heads down at once and we could see how we handled that. And you know, here we go. The Torment Head, which was up a lot of the fight, actually just swallowed one of our people. He's already got burn on him, so I elected not to burn him again. However, you could decide to burn him again because, you know, if he's down to 1 burn, that's going to be off once he takes another turn. But I went ahead and did it. He was pretty low on his turn meter, so I was kind of banking on the other heads attacking us before too long. Hopefully it worked out the way that I thought it did. Obviously we got our champs back, but since we're only on turn 104 and we aren't even halfway through this fight. There we go. Right there, the Head of Wrath attacked our people, and just like that, you know, that green bar was cut down quite a bit, and then bang, 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 just like that. It was down, and now his head's gone. The other good thing about the Torment Head is it's not that hard to take out, so you're able to get a decapitated head pretty often. One of the decisions to make when putting up either unkillable or putting up the automatic revive from Cardiel, things like that, is to kind of try to stagger them, but also see where you're at. If you've got a ton of shield going on, you don't necessarily need one of them up. So if I was going to use Cardiel's move, but I've already got block debuffs up, I've already got a big shield up, then I might not want to use it quite yet, because I want to have block debuffs up as much of the fight as possible. It's not going to stop everything that comes in. The Torment Head can still, you know, True Fury, but you know, it does help a lot. It keeps a lot of the poisons off you, the weakens, the things that can cause those big fast wipes off of you. So staggering things out, you know, is part of the strategy. And then when we've got the heads down, whenever I can, I'm going to try to put that defense down and weaken on. I'd like it on all the time, but you know, that really helps. So here he comes back again, the Torment head. Luckily I wasn't getting the head of Decay very often, and I wasn't getting the head of Mischief very often. I think we beat Mischief once before the end of the fight, and I think we got the head of Decay like, you know, 2 or 3 times, maybe 4, which wasn't a big deal. It was like, okay, we built this team to deal with him. But the cool part is when he's not there, we aren't missing any turns just waiting and waiting to put our debuffs up, because we know he's going to wipe them anyway. So the damage kind of just gets to keep rolling. We get to end up with, you know, multiple heads on fire instead of, you know, getting 1, maybe 2. Sometimes we can end up with more than that. So what other alternative champions could you use in this comp? I do think that instead of Geomancer, you could probably get away with Brogni. Brogni would do a great job of putting up shields again, but I used him with Valkyrie on one of my one of my teams for hard, so I didn't have him available for this. But the cool part is when they attack you, you hurt them. The bad part is you can't target a head that way. You can't say, I'm gonna put the burn on this head and take him out. Instead, it's like that head has to attack you. So if the head that has swallowed somebody, especially if it's Mischief, you know, attacks you, you know, they actually have to attack your champions to do it. And if they don't do much damage, it's not going to do much damage to them. By putting in the burn on them, Head of Wrath, who hits really hard, could attack. Torment actually hits pretty hard, could attack, and that's really gonna just chop down on their health. So the good thing about Geomancer is he doesn't just target a head and then, you know, get veered out of the way if he's targeting the head of Mischief. Instead, he's gonna target a head and he's gonna automatically put that burn on them. So that does apply to the head of Mischief. So, you know, he can't redirect you at someone else. You're still gonna put the burn on them. So he's actually a great way to deal with the head of Mischief. So I've built 2 Geomancers. I'm hoping to pull a 3rd. I'd love to have him in like every team I have, but I don't necessarily need him for 3 teams, but I would like to have it, especially if we ever get to the point where we're taking down Brutal as well. So I would want him on my Brutal team, and then hopefully I would have a key left over for hard, and hopefully have one for normal as well. So I'd like to have Geomancer on every team. He's a little OP for this. So there goes Big On putting the decreased speed out there. In this case, he only landed it on 2 of the heads, on Torment, and he landed it on the Head of Suffering, I believe his name is. And you know, Torment's down, so I guess it didn't matter that much on him. But the decreased speed can be great, especially when the Head of Decay is up. He's the one that cleanses all the debuffs off of the other heads. Once he's taken his turns, once he's used those moves, if you put that slow speed up, it's going to be that much longer before he can come in and wipe him again. So where are we at here? We have a head down. We've got the poison head almost down as well. He's actually a great one to take down because he's the one that puts that poison cloud up. As of right now, the only one that we have that can deal with poison cloud is Geomancer. So if he got swallowed, if Geomancer did, while poison cloud was up and he got swallowed by somebody who didn't have burn on them, we would be in pretty big trouble, especially if the turn count was close to the same amount of turns that the poison cloud would be up. I do believe that happened at some point here. We did end up getting him back out, but it wasn't easy, and it was a close call. So we've got 2 heads down. We've got the burn on the Head of Wrath. I elected, for the sake of lasting a long time in the fight, I elected to put the burn on heads that were still up. I felt that was the best way to deal with it. This way, if you know, if somebody swallows Sir Nick right now, I know it's going to be one of the 2 remaining heads. It can't be swallowed by a decapitated head. So I think our odds are just better of having burn up on one of the heads when they swallow us, as opposed to if, you know, you went and put it on the decapitated head to do extra damage. That would be a totally viable strategy. And, you know, maybe it would have even resulted in more points. I just don't know. I didn't do it that way. But here we are. We've got 3 heads down. So this is kind of fun. I don't remember any times that we had all of the heads down at once. Sir Nick there did 250,000 on his A1. Pretty impressive move there. I hope we get to see Big Un hit here. He hits just so darn hard. You don't want to aim at the ones that have, you know, the red affinity, the force affinity. You want him to aim at heads that have the green or the blue. So if he attacks, say, the head on the right now that's decapitated, that's green affinity. Here he goes. Boom, 106, 52. Oh, no defense down, no weaken, and I don't know if he had attack up on him. So that was pretty weak, but a lot of other times he was doing like a 500,000 during his attacks. So here we go, doing our ally attack at the downed head. If nobody's swallowed, I'm just going ahead and going after that downed head. If somebody's swallowed, I revert my attention to the one that has somebody swallowed, at least until they're close to being down. Maybe if they have the burn up and I know for a fact they're going to go down on the next attack, then I'll move back to the other head. But here we are. We'll put the burn on the head of suffering, who has swallowed our Sir Nick. And while Sir Nick's in there, we can't put our unkillable up. We can't put our big shield up. So we are more vulnerable at this point, but we do still have Cardiel. So he's going to be able to put our automatic revive back on us. And also we have Duchess as well. So as long as she doesn't go down, we'll still be okay, because she's got that, you know, full ally revive. Let's go hit him with Big On. He chops away at that green, man. When he comes into attack, he does a good job. So now Cardiel puts the automatic revive on us. We're safe for at least 2 turns. They could attack us, they could wipe our whole team, and we're still gonna pop back up. Now, the only one who doesn't have it now is Sir Nick. And that's okay, because if he went down, we still got Duchess to bring him back up. But it's nice being able to stagger those moves, because if she had to use hers and we didn't have, you know, automatic revive on, maybe Cardiel was swallowed, you know, now it would be like a couple moves trying to wait to see if we can get Duchess back, you know, back to her move. All right, so I'm gonna fast forward it a little bit and look for a spot where it would make sense for me to get back in and talk again. All right, here's a spot where we actually had all the heads really low. For a second there, I thought we were gonna end up with all 4 heads down, but we didn't. But you saw how many debuffs we had on us. Cardiel comes in and cleanses them all off. That's the beauty of him. And, you know, that's where it's kind of okay for that Torment head to come up. We've got Duchess to put Perfect Veil up, so we can actually attack the Torment head, which I did quite often while they were up. And I just said, you know what, let's put our focus on the Torment head while we can. But then when we didn't have that up, you know, then we had Cardiel to cleanse everybody. So as long as Cardiel didn't attack the Torment head, we were going to be okay. Now we've got 3 heads down at once. You know, we're just kind of licking our chops at this point. My hope is to get Lydia around to put defense down and weaken on them. The sooner we can do something like that, the better. But you know, we're still hitting for around like 100,000 when we do. You know, there, even without defense down and weaken, Big Hun, just on that head he was aiming at, I wasn't able to see the rest. But just on that one, he did 200,000. So having multiple heads down is kind of huge with him. Here we go, 3 heads down, ally attack. We're gonna get Big Un to come in and hit some big smashes. You know, we just jumped like a million, couple million, whatever happened there. This is a lot of fun when you get a lot of heads down and you have somebody in there that can do AoE attacks. The other beautiful part of using Cardiel is when he does that ally attack, Big Un gets to do his AoE attack as well. So while everybody else is just doing kind of their single target attacks, Big Un is doing his AoE attacks. And the other cool part, look how big those shields get when you have multiple heads down. Because you're doing more damage, Sir Nick is actually transferring all of that into shield, or at least a portion of that into shield. So by hitting multiple heads, it's pretty crazy. So here we are, we've got the head of Mischief who's popped up. No, we don't. We've got the head of Decay that's popped up. So we hadn't had to deal with him in a while, but we know how to deal with him. We have to kind of sit around and wait for him to use his moves. We put a slow on him, we're getting some attacks off. I think at this point I was saying to myself, man, I probably should have waited to use that slow until after he's done his thing. But I didn't. And so we're going to kind of see how this goes. I don't remember exactly how I played this out. I think we were hoping to do a lot of damage to the head of Wrath in the meantime, and maybe take him out before the cleanse happened. But we're going to hold off on the burn. This is why I'm not the biggest fan of the mechanics of the head of Decay. Okay, so coming up here, we're going to see the head of Decay use, I believe it's going to be the single cleanse that puts the shield up. The unfortunate part is he's going to put it on the head that has the lowest amount of health left. And forgive me, I'd forgotten my picture-in-picture for a while there, so all of a sudden my head has popped up. But yep, there he goes and uses it. So now that he's put that on the head of Wrath, the bad news is he doesn't have burn on himself anymore. But if we do put the burn back on that head of Wrath, then when we get rid of that shield, he's going to be stunned. And then after that, we're going to be able to take him down pretty good. What you don't want, whenever possible, is to let that shield stay on for its full amount of turns. I believe that just like fully regens the head. So that can be kind of annoying. It's not the end of the world when that happens. But of course it's going to be further from being decapitated. It's okay though, if that happens, because you're still able to do damage the whole time you're bringing it down. Now that he's swallowed somebody, most of the time this is kind of worst case scenario. He's got the shield on himself and you've got to get through that green bar. You got to get through both of them. They don't overlap, unfortunately. So we have to really focus now on getting that taken care of. And obviously we do. We get another 10 million points. But actually, maybe, I shouldn't say that. Maybe we do that without one of our champs. At some point, we start losing people. What happens is the turns that it takes in between them swallowing heads shrinks. It gets smaller and smaller. By the end, it's like every 2 turns they're swallowing somebody. So that's kind of their fail-safe, the thing to keep Unkillable from going on forever if we ever, truly figure out Unkillable, which is pretty much where we got to in this fight. We got to a point where, at least on normal, the game was like, no, this could literally go on forever. We're going to start swallowing your champs over and over and over again. So we've now stunned the head of Wrath. That's the good part of having the shield on him. He loses a turn. If you didn't waste more than a full turn taking that shield off, then you didn't actually lose any time with it. So because he's stunned, we just get free attacks, and it kind of looks like we hurt him a little harder than normal. I'm not sure exactly how that works when they're stunned. But now we can go and put the slow on whoever we can. So we got slow on 2 of the champs. One of them was the head of Decay, which, that's huge. Anytime you can get slow on him after he's used his moves is huge. It's a big deal. just because now we can go ahead and put defense down and weaken and not worry about him wiping it off like right away. But look how quickly the head of Torment already swallowed another person. So we're looking at this like, oh my gosh, we're getting swallowed so often. How long can we keep this up? Hopefully we can keep it up a little longer. But because he's got the burn on him already, and we still got 2 turns until the cleanse comes, I think we're going to be okay. I believe when the head of Torment gets decapitated too, he does some damage to the other heads, like more so than the other ones do. So that can also be a viable strategy. Nuke him down when, you know, another head has swallowed somebody if you can't nuke them down for some reason. All right, so what I really want to look closely at here is the head of Wrath. When he gets decapitated, do we only see damage pop up? No, see, they all took some damage. It wasn't like a crazy amount, but all of the heads took some damage when he got decapitated. And now we can go in and just pump some damage into him. That went to 59. Wow, it's kind of jumping back and forth from like 59 down to 58. I'm not sure what that was about, some kind of a glitch. But it seems to self-correct itself. So we're about to get the cleanse from the head of Decay. This is the part that's not fun. We want to focus on buffs on ourselves. That was a foolish mistake on my part. I should not have done the defense down and weaken. I think I may have been thinking, you know, let's get the defense down and weaken on the decapitated head, because that's not going to get cleansed off. It's only the heads that stay up, but still probably should have waited just 1 turn to put that up, and then we would have been in a better situation right now. We'd have it on at least 3 of the heads going forward. He is going to cleanse the head of Torment and put that shield on the head of Torment again. And this could be the end of our first champ. I don't remember, because here he goes. He puts that big shield on there, and we've also got the green bar to deal with. We've only got, I think, 2 turns to deal with it, and we won't have the burn back for another 2 turns. So we're kind of hoping here. We're like, hope this ally attack does enough. The good news is if we do take that shield out again, it will stun him for a turn, and that would be helpful. Big Un's gonna come in, try to do his part. Hey, we got that stun, so we might be okay here. Let's see what happens. We got Sir Nick coming in. We've got, all right, we're gonna just attack. We held off on the cleanse that time because I wasn't too worried about, you know, getting taken out with the head of Wrath being decapitated at the time. He is the one that does the most damage. So yeah, we got Lydia back again. This is just incredible. I kept thinking this is it. Whenever a champion got swallowed, this is it. It's over. You know, we're not going to do any more damage. They're going to wipe us out in a turn or 2. And then nope, we got that one back again. So anyway, really exciting stuff to watch. It was like, when is it going to end? You know, I had never dreamed that we were going to get to 67 million. That was, you know, that was a pipe dream. I was not expecting that at all. Yep, Cardiel already got swallowed. So this is bad. We've got Head of Decay, who has swallowed one of our champions, and he's about to use his cleanse. So we went ahead and put the burn on him. We're attacking him with Big Un. We're just praying that the Head of Wrath and the Head of Suffering do enough damage to release our champion before this guy does his cleanse. You know what? I think it's gonna happen. There goes Wrath. He spits him back out. Again, you know, edge of your seat, right? It's like, what's gonna happen here? I don't know if anybody's even watching at this part of the video. I think it's totally possible people are just kind of skipping ahead to see what gear our guys were wearing or skipping ahead to the end of the fight. But if you skipped from the beginning of the fight to this point, well, welcome. Nice of you to join us. And here we go. We got the Head of Decay down. I believe what happens after this, if I remember correctly, is one of those two heads is the Head of Mischief. Head of Mischief, I think we faced him once before I started recording. We got him taken down because of Geomancer's burns, but yeah, he's a problem. And when you're only getting like 2 turns to get people spit out, and we're only getting like 2 turns in between, or I think like 4 or 5 turns in between. Yeah, here it is. He's the big problem in this comp because we didn't go into it planning for him. And then on top of it, we get the Head of Decay back. Without that, we may have stood a chance, but whoever gets swallowed now, we can get the burn wiped off with the Head of Decay, and we've got the Head of Mischief that can, you know, steal our buffs and spread them around to everybody else. So that's just a big problem. We only get another 2 million from here. So I guarantee you that's what happens. In fact, I remember that's what happens, as well as the just absolute trade-off from head to head, just swallowing our people. They call it the ramp up. It's where, you know, and this really happens, I believe, with all bosses. They all ramp up as they go. Like, you can't just go on forever against them unless you have unkillable, because they're going to, you know, continuously get harder. The way they ramp up in Hydra is that they start to swallow our champions faster, and they hold on to them for less turns before they swallow them. So it's like they're just raising the gear check over and over and over again. So here we are, hoping to get our guy spit out. I don't think that's going to happen. If it does, it doesn't happen the next time. So there we are. We're doing... That was kind of unfortunate. Usually when we do an ally attack at him, I feel like we land at least a couple attacks. But this time he redirected like all except one of them. And even though it's one of the better champions, I guess, to be swallowed, it's still awfully difficult to get one back when you just can't direct your attacks at that head. And he's got that ally attack up, or sorry, ally protection up. Usually I use Geomancer to wipe that off with his A2, but you can't direct it at him. So there we are. We lost a champion. We got another one swallowed. Or I shouldn't say we lost him yet, but we're about to lose a champion. We had another one swallowed by the Head of Wrath. So there he goes. He finally swallowed that champion. He also took our buffs. So now we've got shield, strengthen, speed, crit rate up, crit damage up. I believe that is block debuffs and increase attack that he could have passed around. He didn't pass them all around because he was too busy swallowing one of our champions. It's amazing to think, wow, we got a champion back from the Head of Wrath. It's amazing to think that we get almost another 1,000,000 points out of these guys. That's just incredible. The biggest surprise of this team, to me and to everybody that I've shown this to, has actually been Big Un. It's been really surprising that Big Un put up like 10 million more damage than Geomancer did. And I'll show you the way I've got him geared and stuff. Like, yeah, he's geared strong, right? He's my campaign farmer. He's, for a long time, he was like my main arena guy. That has changed quite a bit recently. I have 2 Rhodoses right now and a Sifi, so that's definitely my main team. I still use him in 3v3 arena. I pair him with Cardiel and Duchess and I think Lydia, and you know, that works out pretty well. Oh, look at that. One goes in, one barfs out, kills him right then. And I'm just saying, all right, Big Un, one last smack, baby. Let's go. And we're swallowed. 67,270,260 points. I couldn't have imagined it to go better. All right, back to the screen with the damage. All right, so again, Cardiel did almost 4 million damage, more than double what Duchess Lilitu did, and less than half of what Lydia did. So, and I'll show you how I have her geared too. She's kind of a hybrid damage Lydia. And then we've got Sir Nick at 10.5 million, Geomancer at 14.2. Again, I was surprised his damage wasn't higher. And then Big Un at 24.7. I think the reason Geomancer's damage wasn't higher is because it was on normal. The difficulty as it gets higher means that the other heads are actually hitting harder. They've got higher HP pools. And so Geomancer's moves are going to do less damage on the earlier levels. The other champions who are hitting hard when the heads were decapitated, they're the ones that are actually going to do the most damage, and they're going to scale worse as the damage gets higher, or as the difficulty gets higher. Whereas Geomancer scales better as the difficulty gets higher, kind of like the max HP champs. They always scale better with the higher difficulty because the maximum health of the bosses gets higher as the difficulty gets harder as well. So, all right, so let's look at the champions real quick. Cardiel is, well, the only part that really matters on Cardiel is that he's got speed on, and I guess this really bad amulet, but it does have that 8% chance to remove a random debuff. On him, you know, removal of debuffs is actually really strong because you want him to be able to cleanse the rest of the team. So if he has a debuff like Fear that prevents him from doing that, then he can't do his job. So it's really good to get that cleanse, the cleanse artifacts on him. I should look to see if I have any more. I haven't updated Cardiel in quite a while. Don't pay attention to the immunity gear. That's for Arena. That does nothing in Hydra. But the important part are what are his stats. So he's at 53,000 hit points. He's at 3.3 thousand defense, almost 3.4. He's got about 89% crit rate. Not very much crit damage. His resist is at 250. I wouldn't mind that to be a lot higher, but and then his accuracy is only at 136. I did not focus on accuracy. And he's got 313 speed. That's for Arena. That's just so he can go fast in Arena. Next up, we've got Lydia. So like I said, she's a hybrid damage Lydia. And the way that I did that, I just tried to, I didn't focus on getting her 100% crit rate because I wanted to get her a lot of accuracy. I wanted to get her a good amount of resist. I wanted to get her up with the crit damage as well. So when she does crit, she hits pretty hard. Normally, I always say if you want somebody to hit hard, have them be at 100% crit rate first, and then work on the crit damage and the attack and things like that. But she's such a unique character. She's such a unique champion that I thought if I can get my debuffs out there and use her for block revive, and I can sometimes do some damage with her, I think that would be really helpful. In this case, for Hydra, it's actually very helpful. You're doing 200 and some turns in this case, so she was still able to put up a decent number. Obviously, that number would have been even higher if I was able to have these same stats but have 100% crit rate. And obviously, Cardiel's here for the ally attack, and he's here for, of course, that increased crit rate and crit damage when needed, and then block debuffs and revive on death along with that cleanse. That's just incredible. This extra attack thing that he does in the A1, you know, it does a little bit of damage, but that's about it. He's not putting fear on anybody. I'll go to his masteries real quick too. I've got him defense down to resist, and I've got his offense down to lasting gifts. So, you know, basically I just want him to put up his buffs as much as possible and for as long as possible, and his heals as well. I did what I could to, you know, help his heals along. But really, I feel, to be honest, if it weren't for Arena, I would probably go the offense tree instead of the defense tree for him, and go down to War Master. But I didn't do that because, you know, I use him mostly for Arena. And then on the support side, like I say, Lasting Gifts is the important one. Lydia for her, all I was going for on Lydia was accuracy, to have enough accuracy for everything. I've got, so Lydia, I've gotten a hybrid damage build. I don't call it a damage build because I don't have her at 100%. In this team, a lot of the time she's at 100% because of Cardial's increased crit rate, but she's got 228 crit damage, so when she does hit, she hits pretty hard. I didn't pump up her attack too much, but I did, you know, try to get her some. She's nearly 50,000 hit points. So that's really all I was going for with her. And here in her masteries, the important ones for her is War Master. That's one of the reasons she did as much damage as she did. Cardial would actually do pretty well with War Master because of all of his extra attacks that he gets when other people attack. So he might have caught up to her in damage had I had the War Master mastery on him. And then the other important one for her is Master Hexer. So she, you know, when she puts those debuffs on, when she does the defense down and the weaken, she actually does it for more turns. I would think most people would probably put more into the support tree, go down and do Lasting Gifts with her, because of the strength and the speed that she puts up. But I had foregone that to try to do more damage into my build with her, and I've been pretty happy with it. I like it in Arena when she hits pretty hard. She's not my main debuffer. Madam Saris is, but so that way, you know, I've got her hitting pretty hard and taking people out as well. Now we'll move on to Santa Claus. I've got him in Immortal and Speed. And I pumped him up to 80,000 hit points. I know you can get higher with him, but that's where I've got him at. 99% crit rate. That just kind of kills me. 232 crit damage. So you combine that crit damage with that much HP and he actually hits really, really hard. That's why you're able to see such big shields out there. Nothing else really matters with him, other than I've got him at 227 speed. So that is Sir Nick. Nothing special in his amulets or anything. Now Big Un. Again, I had him built for Arena, and I didn't really change it for this at all. I believe I still have him just in attack everything. So attack, crit damage, speed. Yeah, he's just in his Arena gear. He's got one counterattack amulet. I'd like to put him in, and maybe I even could put him in. In fact, I will put him in another counterattack one. But I would like to have more counterattack masteries on him. Counterattack's super strong on Big Un. So eventually I would like to have all three of these be counterattack. His skills, of course, you know, he hits twice on this A1. He hits one enemy once, and then he hits everybody, including that enemy again. That does a ton of damage. He's got this stun and decrease accuracy. The decrease accuracy can actually be pretty handy also. It can stop Mischief from stealing your buffs. It can stop, you know, the poison head from putting on some of the poisons and things like that. And some of the fear from the torment head also can be resisted that way. I don't know if the ones where we attack him can. If those can't be resisted, I can't remember that. But the most important thing here, other than the damage he does, is this decreased speed. It just gives us the advantage whenever possible. So even though he's built for Arena, for the sake of Hydra, I did put him in War Master. I don't regret it. He still does well in Arena. But of course he did even better when he had Helm Smasher. And I did put Deterrence on him, but that's actually for the Inquisitor Shamail teams. that we put on when we usually have the Head of Torment. So that is Big Un's Masteries and his stats. We've got him at 39,000 health, 4,277 attack. I'd like to see that higher, but we've got him at 214 speed and crit rate at 100, and then crit damage at 244. So that's a pretty good one. I've got him at 211 accuracy. We would need to pump that up higher for the harder difficulties, but for this difficulty, that's plenty. All right, so Duchess, we also have in some Immortal, and then we've got some Resist on her too. And because it's so vital for her to be able to do her revive when she needs to, that Resist is really good to have on her. So we've got 406 Resist, we've got 84,000 hit points, 3,000 defense, and then 229 speed. I did not focus on crit rate or crit damage. So that's really all I went for on her. I do have another Duchess that now is getting pretty strong. She's at 71,000. She's got even more defense. She's got about the same amount of resist right now. And all of her gear is level 12. Stone Skin is super OP. I don't know. I'm not sure whether I'm happy they put that in the game or not yet. We'll see how it shakes out, but I'm a little scared of it. But as of right now, we're using this one, and her, the whole reason behind her are the block debuffs, the increased attack, and the perfect veil for when the Head of Torment comes up. Obviously, we can then attack the Head of Torment without getting true feared, as long as those champions have perfect veil on them. And then most importantly, she not only heals, she veils where she not only, and most importantly, she not only revives all dead allies, but she also puts a continuous heal on them. So this helps bring our health back up after we get low. And then we've got this veil that goes on them as well when she revives them. So that's another chance for us to attack the Torment Head. And her masteries are, again, not ideal for this. I went down to get the extra resist, which I don't regret. And then I did everything I could on the offense tree to help like the shield that she creates and to help the heals, to extend all these buffs and that sort of thing. So ideally, I think if you could get all the stats you needed to elsewhere, you would build her then for damage with War Master. And she would do even more damage. But I think more importantly, you just focus on getting her as much resist as possible, as much defense as possible, as much HP as possible, as much speed as possible, and and then all this stuff on the support tree. And I believe this is the Geomancer that I used. This one is in a reflex set. And so what we're looking for with him is to get back that burn whenever possible. It doesn't seem to happen a whole lot. I'm not quite sure why, but he doesn't seem to get it back that often. It's supposed to be like 40%, I thought. Let me take a closer look at that. Yeah, 40% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown. And I do sometimes use his other move, but I think part of the problem is we leave this on cooldown so often that, or would it be off or on? I guess we don't use it so often because of that Head of Decay, that his chances of it proccing just, don't come up as often. So he's got a little bit of Immortal to help get his health back up. And the reason I built him that way is so that as we get attacked, we need to get health back so that the attacks they do to us will, you know, cause damage to them, and it helps us survive longer. But for instance, if the only thing keeping us alive is Sir Nick's, you know, unkillable, then I don't think it does much damage to us if we're all at like 0 HP when we get hit. I could be wrong about that, but I don't believe that's the case. So I do have a counterattack. I do have a counterattack accessory on him. And forgive my voice, guys. I've been doing this video for a long time. More takes than you guys are seeing. So if my voice is starting to sound weird at all, that's probably why. I've got him at 52,000 HP. I don't care about the attack. 2,300 defense, 195 speed. And we've got him, we don't care about crit rate on him so much. The most important thing is a lot of accuracy. We want him to have, you know, plenty of accuracy to land that burn. Anytime he doesn't land the burn, which doesn't happen often, but you can get 3%, it feels bad. So I don't want that feeling too often. Masteries, I believe it's still, after all the changes that they made, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe you still go down to Giant Slayer. Please let me know in the comments if that's not the case, if they got rid of the Giant Slayer proccing. I know he got that nerf and then the buff and everything got weird for a while. So, you know, let me know if that has changed at all. But otherwise, you know, we've got the Vampire Mastery to help get the health back up and other things to just do more damage. And then we go down taking, you know, anything that would boost our accuracy. And then we go down to Master Hexer. So we just want to extend the burn debuff, you know, as much as possible, so it stays on as long as possible. All right, so that's the champions. You know, it's only one epic. This is not a free-to-play, you know, friendly team by any means. I hope nobody thought that it was, but if you see 67 million, chances are it's not. I know some guys, some big brains can do some pretty amazing things, but if we go back to normal, just to double check, yeah, we showed you everybody. Geomancer is the only epic. So there you have it, 67 million damage on Hydra, normal, rotation 3. And again, it was kind of a fluke. I wasn't really going for big numbers. I was just putting together a team with my leftover champs, and you know, it worked out really well. So so there we are. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe to my channel. It would help me out a ton. I would really appreciate it, and hopefully I can do more content like this for you. All right, thank you. I'm Clan Boss, and this was another Raid Shadow Legends video.
It's just you, me, and the odds. We stuck together, we two peas in a pod. You dealt a bad hand, I'm there seizing the cards. We'll never be separated till we seeing the gods. We've been low together, high forever. Long as we go together, we'll die whenever. Be a light, couldn't let the darkness try you ever. Truth in my word, you I lie to never.